Hi, I'm Katherine McNamara here at Comic Con Portugal with CineAddiction.
So how are you? Are you enjoying Portugal?
I am loving Portugal. I haven't been here for very long yet, but it's such a beautiful city, and the food is amazing.
Of course,
and,
best food in the world.
Yeah, and I can't wait to explore more.
Of course. We can help you with that if you want.
Sure, yeah.
So we need to ask you a few questions about Shadowhunters, of course.
Let's do it.
So the more experience Clary gets being a Shadowhunter, the more you get to have fun with stunts.
Yes.
I'm sure it can be hard work, but it must be a great way to keep your days on set fun and light.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a stunt you were particularly proud of?
Gosh, there's so many. There's some really cool fights and really amazing stunts coming in 3A. I don't know what happens in 3B yet, but I can speak about the first 10 episodes. It's incredible working with our stunt team because they're so well versed, they're masters in all of these martial arts, and they take such care to blend them in such a way that creates a specific fighting style for each character. And it's been amazing working with them, not only to build my skills, but to craft Clary's skills as she learns more, as she has a new weapon this season, which we see a little glimpse of in the trailer. It's there are these two daggers that have a good bit of significance. So that's revealed in the first episode, so we'll see. I can't say any more than that. But there's a really cool stunt that we do in the first episode. It's our first ever dual wire gag, where we have two of us on wires and we're doing stuff in the air simultaneously. I can't say any more than that, but it's a real testament to our team because they are constantly thinking of ways to build and grow the show to up their own game, and I think it's really important for all of us to keep pushing ourselves like that.
Well,
that's why the show keeps getting better and better.
And Jocelyn's death was a big change from the books, and one that impacts Clary.
Yeah.
In what way do you think losing her mom has changed Clary?
I think the biggest way it affected her is that she suddenly became responsible for her own actions. She became an adult in that moment, even just by nature, even if she wasn't ready for it. And it forced her to grow up in the sense that she had to take charge of her own life and really fight her own battles and make her own choices because she didn't have her mother around to protect her, to advise her, to tell her what to do anymore. So she has Luke, she has the rest of her friends, she has Magnus, but she was kind of on her own a bit from that point, at least from a family standpoint. Okay
then, and the show seems to be investing a lot in Clary and Izzy.
Yeah.
But do you think the relationship will develop any further?
Oh, I think it always is. I think as all of the relationships are developing, you know, they're these two women that are in this world and
strong women.
Strong women. That's honestly, that's something I have to give our writers.
Biggest triumphs
exactly.
Of Shadowhunters.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's something that I have massive respect for our writers on, is they're so cognizant of that. And they take extra time and extra care to craft these women. Every single female character on the show is empowered. She fights her own battles. She makes her own choices. But I think the biggest distinction for Shadowhunters is that each one of these women, even just looking at Clary, Maya, and Isabel, they're so different. They're three incredibly different kinds of women who react completely differently in a given situation. And yet it shows, hopefully, young people that the strong, empowered, and the strong, empowered woman is not necessarily one kind of woman. It can be any woman.
Yeah, that's true. And then, is there any character that Clary hasn't interacted with and you wish she would?
Oh, I want to interact with everyone. I really think Clary and the Sealy Queen need a confrontation because, and the relationship it gets worse. It just deepens in season 3.
Season 3?
Yeah, she keeps messing with stuff and people, and it's just
a bit annoying.
You know, but you know, she's the most powerful creature in the downworld, so you can't really say much. I really would like to work with Maris more. I just love Nicola so much, and I want to see, because they had a bit of a contentious relationship when they first met, and I want to see how that would develop. Who else do I want to work with more? I'd love to work with Jade more. I'd love to work with David more. Just the people I don't get to see very often. But everybody else I get to see intermittently at least. And that's sort of the fun of it, is I have such different personal relationships with everyone on the show that that lends itself to the different character relationships as well. And each character brings out a different side of Clary and brings out a different element and a different characteristic in her. And I love playing all those different facets.
And do you think the tone of Shadowhunters will shift? Will it become darker than it already is?
Absolutely. Because what we saw happen in episode 20 is we saw all of these choices made, we saw all of these major events happen. Yeah. And particularly for Clary, speaking from a character standpoint, she killed her own father.
Yeah.
And that changes a person. I mean, if you think about the timeline of our show, all of this has happened in the course of 50 days.
Yeah.
So in the course of 50 days, Clary found out she was a Shadowhunter, lost her mother, found and lost her brother a couple times, and killed her own father. And all of those events take a toll. And so this shadow world that was once a world of kind of glitter and wonder and magic has now become a world of death and cutthroat, cold-hearted danger. And she's aware of that now, and she's looking at the world more from that perspective in this upcoming season. And we also see a lot of the consequences of the actions that everyone took, and how that affects events moving forward.
Okay, then so we can expect a darker season.
Yeah, well, it's in that sense too. It's definitely more horror-based this season. We have a lot more horror elements. There's a lot more blood. There's a little bit more gore here and there, and there's more of the horror style of cinematography at times when mediated.
I'm curious. So the universe's mythology is really vast, and a lot of different props come with it. Mm-hmm. If you could steal one prop from the set, which one would be? Any weapons?
Yeah, I think I'd steal Clary's new weapon, to be honest. It's really cool, and our props department does such an amazing job crafting everything, and they work with us quite a bit when it comes to our weapons and our holsters and any personal props that our character has. It's definitely a collaboration. But they always have they're amazing what they do. They craft these incredible things. But our weapons, we have several different sets. Mm-hmm. We have one set that's rubber that we actually do the fights with. It's made of this like heavy rubber. And then we have a metal set that's really shiny and beautiful that we use for different specialty shots or for just carrying them and just need to look tough and aren't actually doing anything because they're dangerous and sharp and heavy. It's true.
So then, Comic Con seems like a perfect place for Simon and Clary to hang around.
Yes!
If they were here, both of them, what do you think they will do?
Oh, I think they would definitely be checking out the vintage comics and buying some collector's items, as well as Clary would be talking to all the artists, Simon would be talking to all the writers, and they'd definitely attend as many panels as possible. And they would come in cosplay, for sure.
You've accomplished a lot at a really young age. What kind of projects do you want to embark now?
I sort of made a promise to myself when I started this that I wanted to do a little bit of everything. I want to play every kind of character, I want to work in every genre, I want to work in every medium. But I always want to be challenged, because that's how you grow. And that's why I'm in this industry, and what I love about this job is that you're constantly growing, you're constantly learning, you're constantly doing something new. And I think the way to utilize that most is by constantly pushing yourself outside your comfort zone. Yeah. You know, my favorite thing is when I read a script and I go, I don't know if I can pull that off. Because I know that when I get there and when I work on it and do the project on the day, that you make it happen, and you learn through that.
Well, then, just one more question.
Okay.
Discovering Sebastian's story and enduring all the manipulation and violence that came with it was clearly tough for Clary, but she still had some empathy for her brother.
Yeah.
What can we expect going forward?
This is a constant conflict for Clary, and I think will continue to be, because she knows what it's like having Valentine for a father, but she also knows that Sebastian, Jonathan, knows that more than anyone, even more than she does. And there's a certain understanding she has in that sense that he never even had a chance because of the demonic blood, because of everything. And there's a sort of tragedy in that she always wonders what could have been, but it's coming to the realization that that can never be and that could never be because of what Valentine did. And you know, as much as she tries and wanted to give Sebastian a chance, wanted to try and make it work, at that point there was no foreseeable solution, and she had to protect the people that she could save. So that's sort of where that ended up, but she still feels the weight of that sort of decision that she made and the weight of that loss.
Okay, and then last one. Creating rooms is a huge skill in the shadow world, but I think it could also be really useful in everyday life.
Indeed.
What time would you create to make life easier? What type of room?
I would create a closet cleaning room because I'm the perpetual trope of I clean my closet and then I have to decide what to wear, that situation. So yes, I can never keep my closet clean, so I need some help there.
Well, thank you so much for this.
Thank you very much.
Can I take a picture?
Of course.
Well then.